It's been a minute. It's been a long time since I've made a video because I've been doing this. I've invested all of my money and all of my time into the Uber Claw project. The last time you saw it, this is what it looked like. The jaws were milled out of a single block of PA66 nylon, 30% reinforced with glass fiber. So was the handle. It was a little blocky for ease of manufacture, but it was still expensive. Everything was milled out of billet aluminum, and they were good. People liked them, but they weren't super comfortable. The jaws were a little small, so I redesigned the whole thing. The handles are now injection molded by a company up in Ohio. The plastic they use is manufactured in Texas, so everything is still made in America. The jaws are made by the same company, again injection molded up in Ohio, and I've had them overmold a soft type of rubber on the tips. I use this one in the shop all the time. It's a little beat up, but it's still going. The trigger, I've put a radius on it so that it's a little more comfortable in the hand rather than that sharp edge, which is a complaint that I had. So this is the version 2.0. This is what I'm selling now. Today, I've got 6 orders to fill. 3 are going to the Army Corps of Engineers up in Ohio, and 3 are going to Moran Towing here in Jacksonville. And because I haven't made a video in a while, I'm going to show my little setup here. This is my little baby assembly line. And this mostly caters to making the guts of the claw. These used to be the most time-consuming part that I would make. Now I have an automated process, semi-automated process. I'm gonna walk you guys through how I make them and try to sell you one. Now, if you are just cleaning up your yard, picking up trash or something, these things from Grainger, Home Depot, whatever, work just fine. I'm not trying to sell these to pick up trash in your yard. The whole purpose of this overbuilt, over-manufactured tool is to serve a niche in the industrial world where I have spent most of my time. If you work on a ship or in a construction site, a diesel mechanic shop, or anything like that, this is intended for you. It'll pick up heavy things and it won't break. It's not gonna break. These have paper thin tubing and it's mild steel. I could break this, but I don't want to.
Epic Fred versus Cheap Trash Picker.
Round 1. Fight!
Fatality.
They're junk. This is what I'm making. So, these are for the industrialized world. If you say, it's too expensive, yes, it's expensive. These are intended for the same people that keep a 3-foot rigid pipe wrench in their toolbox. So the manufacturing process is simple. I start off with this flat 300 series spring steel, which I get from McMaster Car. I gauge it with the little split here in the bench. So I'm making 6 48-inch claws right now. Put a mark in it. Bend it, and it'll split. A plate shear will make this go faster, but I just haven't bought one yet. They're kind of expensive. All right, now step 2 is to take the spring strip that I just cut and to put it into the first stage of the bender. So it sits in here. We push it all the way up to the top of the gauge, and then we actuate it with the little button back here. So that puts the first bend in here. We move on to the loop bender, same thing. We put the strip into the bender, keep it flat against the table, make sure it's all the way down, and then again, actuate it. So now I have the loop in the end. Put the spring strip into the spot welder, the automated spot welder. So make sure so it fits into the jig. Push the little tab down, make sure everything's lined up. Then actuate it. And now you spot weld it. Release it, move it up 1/4 inch. Actuate it again, spot weld it. So now that that's done, I have the spot welded loop. This part attaches to the trigger. So now I flip the strip around, set it into this gauge back here. That gives me the proper length for the 48-inch claw. Put the strip onto the gauge, the spot welding head, put the tab in, snaps into place, then we actuate the spot welder, spot weld it, rinse and repeat. So now the tab has been spot welded to the end of the strip. So now that these are all welded up, we come to the sander over here and touch the edges because they are just over 3/4 inch long, just due to the manufacturing process. Also take off some of the edges on the back ends of these. They stick out a little bit, so we just clean them up a little bit and then they're ready for assembly. All right, following that, we grab one of our tubes. This is standard 3/4 inch 063 wall aluminum tube, 6061. We take the tube, take the jaw body, slip the tube into the jaw body. Grab the 1/8 inch Allen and a set screw. This is a 1/4 28 3/16 stainless steel set screw. Drive the set screw into the jaw body. After that, we take the strip that we just made, slide it into the tube. The loop has to face the same direction as the set screw. From here, we grab 2 of our jaws, give them each a little dab of grease, fit them onto the tab, slide them into the jaw body. Put this assembly up under the press, grab some 1-inch roll pins, and press them into place. Now, make sure everything moves freely by pushing and pulling on the loop in the back. The next step is to grab one of the jaw body or the main bodies, and we slip it onto the backside of the whole claw itself. Slips all the way forward. Press everything flat onto the table. Put a little dab of grease on the inside of the loop for the trigger. Grab the center punch, lift it up, grab a trigger, and wedge it in there. Put the claw up on its side, and press the roll pin into place. So now the trigger is attached to the strip. The next thing to do, get a little bit more grease, put it on the ears of the trigger, these holes here. I really should get a syringe for this, but I'm using a pick right now because that's what I have. Now, put it back on its side, line the holes up, grab a 1-inch roll pin. And then this is kind of the tricky part. Press the roll pin in until it's just proud of the trigger. Press it in ever so gently. All right, now that it's just sticking out a little bit, we grab a spring, we stick it in there, hold it in place with the press, press it in the rest of the way. All right, now we almost have a fully functioning claw. We have everything assembled. I'm going to grab a grip, a handle. This is what they look like, fresh off of the injection mold dies from Ohio. Set the claw upside down. Get our gun hammer, a non-marring plastic-ended gun hammer. Pull up the end of the spring. It's going to get preloaded. We're going to stick the grip in there. Then we're going to coerce the handle. Now it's seated in there. Put the claw back into the arbor press. 2 more 1-inch roll pins. trim off the excess spring, flush with the main body here. Now the next step is to grab another set screw. So what I'm doing here is, when this jaw is closed and this tube is sticking out, if I pull on the trigger, it'll draw the whole assembly into the main body. And we do that until this gets to about 3/4 of an inch. And then put the set screw in, tighten it down. And that's it. Here we have a fully functioning, brand new, off the assembly line, 48-inch claw.